Oh my. I need to get that on the soundboard. I keep saying that. I need to do it. Let me see. Let me wait for these sweet bits to roll on in. I'm not seeing any bits though. Not yet. Oh, there it is. There are the bits. Okay. Here we go. You want the tweet, Lewis? You want the tweet? You can't handle the tweet.
I need it.
I need the tweet, man. Give me the tweet. I've been waiting for the tweet. Don't tell me no. I can't hear no. And boom. And we're live. There we go, Lewis. It's all happening. We're waiting for the people to roll in. We have Level Remix here. He says, "Hola, gents." That's funny. I just did a Spanish greeting to the fellows here earlier. So welcome to Level Remix. We got a lot to talk about. Ulysses Martinez is here. Hey, y'all. Oh boy, I'm waiting for that on Tuesday. TC is going to be hey y'allin' from all over California's greatest hits, right? I think Mark Gurman was saying that the California streaming thing is going to probably mean that they're going to be talking about Apple TV and then also broadcasting from different areas of California. We'll see how that works out. We have Chase McLean with a very jovial hello. We have a lot of stuff to talk about here, guys. We're only going to do about, 20 to 50 minutes of pre-show, and then we'll get this thing going. Well, you only shoot for 5 minutes or so, but it's funny how it spirals out of control. And this is going to be our hardware predictions episode. Oh man, I am legitimately concerned for how much money I'm probably going to spend next week. And I was telling Aaron on CultCast Off Topic the other day, I got to be careful on how much stuff I buy, because if I don't want to go full canny, and full canny being you literally buy one of everything that's announced at the keynote. I don't think I've ever done that before, but I feel like that actually might happen next week for the first time, maybe ever, where I literally purchase one of everything. And I usually do a keynote recap for my wife, and I just tell her like what was announced. And I'm seriously considering omitting the part. If they announce an iPad mini, an updated iPad mini, I'm seriously considering omitting that part, because like she loves her iPad mini, and if I tell her that a new one's coming out, she's going to want that one, and then I'm going to have to buy yet another piece of hardware. And then if they announce the MacBook Pros, oh man, it's going to be like a $6,000 a week, and I really can't afford for that to happen.
That's the right idea. Say buy everything for yourself and don't get anything for your wife. That's the way to do it.
Well, I learned from the best. Hiding my purchases, by categorizing them in my bank account to look like other things,
Right.
Separate credit cards.
Why did you spend, $500 at Ultra Beauty Supply? Oh, it's for you, honey. Just wait. Surprise gift on the
Not
way.
that you need it.
Yeah, right. You definitely don't. I mean, no, you don't.
Pick a different.
Let's see here. What items has
Category.
LK bought but never opened? Oh, God. There's a whole basement full of that. We could probably do a whole episode just on that.
What have I bought but not opened?
What items has LK bought but never opened?
That doesn't happen, does it?
No, well, not very often.
Yeah. But items that have been sent to you that haven't been opened? Whole basement full of that stuff.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like it looks like a scene from WALL-E down there.
What a huge, like
Just
that.
huge piles of technological
boxes.
garbage, yeah.
I wish it was.
Andrew Sinister is here. He says, "Hey guys." All right. Well, tell you what. We've waited long enough. We've done enough pre-show. Let's queue up Mrs. You Know Who, and let me get my notes here, and we will get this thing going, because we do have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I don't even know if we're gonna make it through all of this stuff as is. So let me queue up Mrs. D. Mrs. D. I can't wait for iPhone 14. Well, Mrs. D, that's actually not what's coming out this year. Oh, but I saw a story that told me to wait. Yes, well, you can do that if you want, but just so you know, the originator of that story he'll be dead by the time the iPhone 14 comes out. So I hope you found that story valuable, because that's the one that ended John Prosper's life. All right, let's go ahead and get everything queued up here. I'll get the music going, and we will get this show rolling in 3, welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airphone Elijah. Join me today. He'll be wearing an adult diaper during next week's keynote, just in case we get one more thing. And in preparation of some kind of really huge announcement, Lewis is going to have a mop standing by. He's the founder of Cultimac. Leander Kahaney is here. Also with us. He'll also be wearing an adult diaper during the keynote, but not because of potential accidents. No, he's going to need to ensure the Cultimac writers are hitting the keys all day long, and he's not going to have time for breakfast, lunch, or any pesky bathroom breaks. He's the managing editor of Cultimac. Lewis Wallace is here.
That is patently false.
That's not what you told me, dude. I mean, you were telling me just before we started that you actually kind of enjoy wearing an adult diaper because it just saves you so much time, you know?
Man, I just, no.
Okay, you actually. I'm sorry. You did tell me that you don't want me to talk about that. I completely forgot. So we'll edit that out in post. It's gonna stay in the live show, but for the rest of the listeners, they won't hear that part. All right. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. We have, some updates on everything that is going to be announced next week, and then we're going to do a hardware. We're just going to be talking about our predictions. So here's what we expect that we're going to get next week. And there's a lot of stuff here to talk about. We also have some more information to share on iPhone 13. We'll also be talking about iPhone 14. I don't know if you guys saw the hype on iPhone 14, but if you didn't get my joke earlier, John Prosser released a video strategically timed to ride on the coattails of the iPhone 13 hype, but it's all about iPhone 14. And I honestly, the story, I joke, but I do kind of worry about his safety. Because if this is correct, I mean, not only was he showing what the iPhone 14 was going to look like, but in the headline of the video, as if he wasn't already in enough danger from TC, he put "Don't buy iPhone 13" because he thinks that people should wait for the 14, which, dude,
He's pushing his luck, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a bold move.
He's got his team of assassins.
Yeah, and he's not. Usually, I think TC just has him take you out from the rooftop, like a mile away with some kind of like long rifle. But this time, he's just going to walk into his door. He's just going to be restrained by two big buff guys. And then TC is going to emerge from the darkness because TC wants to finish him off himself. So it's not going to end well for you, dude. He's going to be making that face that he made, that TC made when that joke was made at the Golden Globes. And TC just sat there with that vacant smile on his face, blinking rapidly. Do you know what I'm talking about? And he was trying to smile, but you could tell he was really not happy about the joke that was made. That's going to be the last thing that John Prosser sees before the piano wire.
You'd think that they'd use lasers or something.
Yeah, some kind of new technology that Apple's been working on. Let's see here. Before we dive into all of the fun, I mean, the fun's kind of already started, but let me first show you this ginormous full screen picture of the lovely Alex E. Heath. Look at him. Look little Heathy. Little Heathy. God, he just took all the lessons I taught to him over the years that we were working together, and he really is just executing. And that makes me proud.
The chiseled jaw.
Yeah. Clearly, he worked on this look for at least an hour in the mirror to make sure they got his best angles. So he's got a headline. He's got a story at The Verge, and he made himself. Isn't this like his first story? He made himself the leading image for this product, which is a bold move. Bold move, Heath. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I was going to tell you guys about CultCloth, cultcloth.co. Now is the time. If you have not purchased CultCloth, or maybe you have the older versions and you've been thinking about getting the newer versions of CultCloth, because we just updated it with the CultCloth Duo, which is a dual-sided cleaning cloth that has a long pile on one side, short pile on the other. So it's perfect for all your devices like keyboards, screens, heavy-duty jobs, light-duty jobs. And then we also have our classic but version 2 cloths, our carry cloth, our polish cloth, which are just going to keep all your devices sparkling clean. And now's the time. I mean, you're going to be getting a new iPhone, perhaps other things. And if you want to keep your technology looking brand new, this is the time to do it. You get yourself some cold cloth and just swab the decks every week. Keep them sparkling. You don't need to use any cleaning solution if you don't want, although that sometimes in certain scenarios actually takes the cleaning power even further. But just a little, like Leander does into his microphone throughout the entire episode. And then you just wipe that thing down, and you will be surprised. It just obliterates finger prints, dirt, grime, and nothing is left behind but sparkling glass and metal. And you can see the reflection in this iPhone 11 Pro. That's actually the one and only iPhone 11 Pro right here that I have. And you can just see, I mean, it looks brand new, and this thing is years old. And one of the reasons is because I keep it clean. And it works on all your gadgets, your lenses, your glasses. Like our carry cloth works really great on sunglasses, your Apple Watch. You're just going to love these things. Your camera lenses, I use them on all my camera lenses, and I keep them looking sparkling clean. The long pile especially reaches down into like nooks and crevices to remove grime from places that most clean cloths wouldn't dare to attempt to reach down into. Let's just put it that way. And a lot of cleaning cloth, they're really flat, so they just push grime into like all the cracks and crevices. So it doesn't really remove it, it just hides it. Or it pushes it into places that you don't want it. It's like getting sand in your butt crack at the beach. Do you want a sandy crack, Lewis?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so. So if you'd like to pick some Cult Cloth for yourself, cultcloth.co. Cultcloth.co, use code CultCast at checkout. You'll save 10%. No, you won't. You're going to get a free carry cloth with any purchase at cultcloth.co and use code CultCast at checkout. I should read my own headline here. All right, guys. Here it is. The Apple events that we have been hoping for, that we've been talking about. It's happening next Tuesday. I'm sure you already know this. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Lewis, I took your headline. Can I hand it back to you?
Yeah, so confirmed this week. Next week, the California streaming event will focus on, well, that part's not confirmed. We think it's going to focus on iPhone 13, Apple Watch Series 7, and maybe an AirPods upgrade. It's going to stream, it's another one of these virtual events because nobody can get together in a room with more than 3 people at a time. And it's going to be a giant online thing, kicks off at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So,
did you try going on your iPhone and tapping on the Apple logo and seeing the augmented reality Apple in your own hand, your own desk?
I did do that, and my big fat iPhone 12 Pro Max was just grinding and like, I don't know.
What do you mean? It just wasn't working?
It didn't work out for a minute or two.
Oh,
and then
weird.
It finally did, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I think I'm the only person in the technology, world or whatever that doesn't understand or believe in this AR and VR stuff. I mean, I look at it, I'm like, it's really awesome,
I mean, it is cool when there is a reason to use it. So, I mean, to get you hyped for the Apple event, I think that's kind of cool. And in a really brilliant move, and we'll be talking about this, John Prosser released this video about iPhone 14, which we'll be talking about here later. And in his story that he published on Front Page Tech, there was an AR version of it, which I thought was really smart. And when you get to see something in real life like that before it's released, I actually kind of think that's pretty cool. But there's not a lot of uses outside of getting hyped for upcoming products and putting IKEA furniture in your house for augmented reality at this point, But let's see here. Let's just dive right in and talk about hardware expectations, hardware predictions. There's a lot of stuff to talk about here. Let's start with iPhone 13. That, of course, is going to be the big product. Well, maybe not. We'll see what TC does. I mean, that's why Leander's going to have his adult diaper on in case there's one more thing. He's getting a large uncontrolled bowel movement, so that will capture that.
Oh my God, did you have to say that?
Well, it's exciting. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, Leander. At least this year you're going to be prepared for it, and you won't be caught off guard like in previous years. Oh no, not again!
Wow.
Let's talk about iPhone 13. So let's just do a recap of what we're expecting here, right? Because there's been a lot of rumors that have been floating all around, and what we're expecting thus far is, let me move this over so I can see both at the same time. Here we go. What we're expecting so far is smaller notch, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, faster A15 chip, faster 5G technology, a matte black color, possibly orange and bronze. And let's see here. Yeah, here we go. So this is the possible bronze color. I'm showing it right now. I think that is a beautiful phone. And if they do release a bronze one, that's the one I'm going for 100%. The matte black is also going to be super popular, I'm sure. I also saw today that Max Weinbach was saying that there may be a pink version of the iPhone 13. So, and then the bronze color is supposed to be like the Pro color. So that's also possible. And then, according to a story from John Prosser, updated Face ID that can unlock the phone with your mask and glasses on. That's going to be super useful, super duper useful. If you're wearing glasses, it won't really benefit you in any way. Even though your phone will be unlocked, you still won't be able to see it because, your glasses are going to be 100% fogged up, right, Lewis? So what's the point? And then, of course, the feature that all the nerds are going goo goo gaga over is the 120 hertz ProMotion display that they are all but certainly going to be including on the Pro models. And if you are not getting a Pro model, well, you're going to be out of luck. You're going to have it's not going to be 120 hertz. It's going to be 12 hertz. So when you move it, it'll be like it won't even be smooth anymore. They're going backwards. That was a joke, by the way. That's not true. There are also rumors of an always-on display, so that would be super cool. And that's one I could see them definitely doing. They already have this technology working on the Apple Watch, so why not get it working on the iPhone? And it would be cool to have something that was always just like there on the screen to give the phone some more life and maybe show you like a widget or some time or something. And then you might be wondering, well, dude, what phones are we getting? Well, that's easy. So we're getting the exact same phones that we have gotten previously on the iPhone 12. So a 5.4-inch iPhone 13 mini, a 6.1-inch iPhone 13, a 6.1-inch iPhone 13 Pro, and then a 6.7-inch Surfboard Edition iPhone 13 Pro Max, which will come with carnauba wax, and you can take it into the ocean and go surfing with it, so that would be cool.
It should come with a wrist splint.
Yeah, wrist splint. Is that one of the things that goes on? It's like your phone can't get away from you?
No, I mean so that you, like, after holding the thing for, an hour and a half, oh, my wrist, oh.
Yeah.
Got the death grip on the thing. I can't wait to get a smaller phone.
Are you going to go with the mini this year, Lewis?
No, I don't think I can go with the mini, but
yeah,
every
maybe just the
time
Pro.
I pick up the wife's regular old Pro, it's just like, oh, that's a much more manageable size.
I know. I really want to get the Pro or the Max, but it as much as I like having the bigger screen, the carry factor is just not there for me. It's so much harder to carry that dang thing around and put it in your pocket and all that kind of stuff. It's just I don't know if I'll do it again. And then I'm also curious to see what the prices are going to be for these phones. I mean, considering that there's chip shortages, it's way more expensive to ship things right now. I mean, everything's more expensive. And so is Apple going to raise the price on the iPhones? I really hope that they're not. But if they do, I think that will drastically affect how popular the more expensive or the larger phones are. Because who's going to want to spend, $1,400 or whatever for a base model phone? I don't think there's going to be an appetite for that. So I kind of feel like they're going to have to leave the prices the same, but we'll see. The other thing that we talked about was emergency satellite communication. So the ability to send text messages to emergency contacts in situations where there's an emergency. And then some of the other, the last feature here, possibly a slightly bigger wireless charging coil that might make reverse charging possible, which would be super cool if you'd be able to charge your AirPods on the back of your iPhone or something. And if they're going to be making the wireless charging coil slightly bigger, well, they're clearly preparing to do something. I think it might have to do with being able to charge wirelessly faster maybe in the future, but it also could just be the potential for charging other accessories, on the back of the phone. I mean, a dream feature would be being able to charge your AirPods and your Apple Watch on the back of the phones that you didn't need to bring a bunch of different chargers when you travel. I mean, that's like the dream feature right there. I would use that all
Like
the
a
time.
pass through. So
Yeah.
you charge the phone, and then the phone's charging the app.
Yeah.
Your watch. Man,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Human
And
centipede of chargers.
yeah, that might be what they call it. Yeah, centipede charging. And and the thing is we know that the current iPhone 13 is able to charge Apple's charging brick that they released, their MagSafe charging brick, because that's a feature of the brick. So when you plug the phone into Lightning and you have the brick attached, the phone can charge the brick. So clearly it already works, but for some reason they haven't enabled it for charging AirPods, which I find to be interesting. And if it already works for charging that brick, then why couldn't it charge AirPods? So maybe they're just saving that feature for a new phone. It's like, oh, hey, this feature now exists on this new phone. You could probably do it on the iPhone 12, but maybe they want to save that feature for the iPhone 13 just to get people to buy them. And then for those of you wondering, no USB-C, no, it will not be portless, and no Touch ID. It looks like that feature didn't make the cut. Hopefully that means that it's still coming up in the future. And here's some more interesting factoids. So this is from Max Weinbach. He had a bunch of tweets recently about the iPhone 13. Now, take into account that his record on getting things right, it's not terrible. It's not great. I think it's like around 65%. So, he's correct more often than he's not correct, so that's good. But it's not as high as, John Prosser, and definitely not as high as like Mark Gurman or something. So, but he's saying that the iPhone 13 mini will offer approximately 1 additional hour of battery life. This is from the Mac Rumors story. They basically just summarized all his tweets because I'm not trying to read through all those tweets. The iPhone 13 Pro Max will feature an 18 to 20% larger battery compared with the 12 Pro Max. Both the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro will use the same battery components as last year, but offer batteries that are 10% larger. I always find the comments about the battery being larger or smaller to be pretty much pointless, because all that matters is battery life, and if Apple puts a battery in that is 10% larger, but then the 120 hertz ProMotion display takes up that extra power, then you basically are a wash, right? So it doesn't really make a huge difference. The ProMotion displays of the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max will throttle to 60 hertz when in low power mode. The iPhone 13 Pro Max will continue to offer exclusive features that the iPhone 13 Pro will not have. That's sad. I wish they didn't do that. The camera sensors across all models will be able to receive at least 15% more light, with the biggest increase on the ultra-wide sensor with up to 40% more light. So apparently they're going to be increasing the maximum aperture from, I think the current is like 2.8 to like maybe like 1.8 or something. We'll see what they end up doing. But so that will make, you'll have the ability to take night photos much more easily with the wide angle camera, which is the one I use almost all the time. Cinematic portrait mode video will now use an electric image stabilization, EIS, known as warp. This mode will attempt to keep the subject in the center of the frame, use optical image stabilization in a more smooth operating mode, and offer additional effects. And then finally, night mode will recognize when the stars are in the frame and adjust the settings accordingly. I guess if you want to do like astrophotography or something, the new algorithm analyzes structures, resharpens, and adjusts shadows. God, using a phone for taking pictures of the stars, I don't know how that's going to work out for you. We'll see what the final product is, but that's something that it's hard for SLRs to do, let alone a little tiny phone. So there you go, iPhone 13. Maybe you should get this one. Maybe you should wait for iPhone 14. We'll show you some pictures of that one coming up here pretty soon. But I'm definitely going to be getting one if they have the bronze. That's the one I'm going for. Let's take another look at that bronze. Where is it? That's a good-looking phone. Yeah, go ahead.
I like that bronze, huh?
Dude, I mean, we'll see what it looks like in real life, but now you guys can see my screen, right? That's a good-looking color, I think. Yeah.
Looks kind of like gold.
Yeah.
Flake or something.
It kind of it has a very 50s vibe to me.
Yeah.
Like you would see this color in a hotel built in that era. You know, it has a very mid-century look to it, which I kind of like. We'll see. We'll see what it's like
Yeah.
in person, but I could go for that matte black too. But you know, I gotta say my enthusiasm is a little bit tempered. I was kind of hoping for some more marquee features, but because I've got the 11 Pro, and I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this phone and I'm like, God, it really seems like it's a super duper incremental update over the 12, and even from the 11 Pro, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, like, there's not really anything that's drastically different even from the 11 Pro for the 13. Now, we'll see what happens. They probably have some stuff that we haven't heard about, and once TC announces it, it will be a whole different story. But at this moment, I'm like, you know, like I'm probably gonna get it. I'm excited just to have a new phone, if for anything, just to have some more storage space. But like, where's the marquee feature here? Is it the 120 hertz ProMotion display? It's like, you know what I mean? That's cool, but
Yeah.
what are you thinking, Lewis?
No, I think that's I think that's a legitimate way to feel about it. It's kind of, I mean, I keep going, geez, if I was on the upgrade program, I don't know that I would be jumping to, you know, spend another grand.
Mm-hmm.
Although, you know, smaller phone, yes. after a year with the giant one, I'm ready to downsize. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's kind of odd. Surely there's something we haven't heard about that's going to be like, oh, awesome. On the other hand, they'll probably spend, you know, 20 minutes talking about the camera and making us think like we can all be, you know, Quentin Tarantino if we just buy this new Pro phone, and we'll be knocking out amazing movies. I mean, I remember watching that in the last one going, that is so cool how that camera can do all that stuff. And it's like, you know, I mean, have I taken any videos of my cat? Maybe. I haven't really used it for much. I feel, it makes me, when I think about it, it makes me feel like a complete and utter loser.
I mean, that is, jeez, don't be so hard on yourself, Lewis.
Well, I mean, you know, don't you, when you watch those things, don't you go, wow, look at them making these videos. They got it. Like, didn't they have it like strapped to the undercarriage of a truck or something? And they're capturing all this amazing footage. You know, it's like, you know, Buster would probably make good use of a phone like that. Me, not so much.
Yeah, I guess I've had my expectations tempered over the years to realize what they're showing is possible if you have a lot of lighting equipment, or you really know how to light in natural
free
light or
time
something.
And skill.
Yeah, free time, skill's
Ambition.
an important one.
Ambition comes in handy.
Then yeah, because you can make any camera look good in the right scenario. That's not hard. What is hard is having a camera make a picture look good in bad situations. That's one of the things I love about my Fujifilm camera. It's just when you're in poor lighting scenarios, it is able to capture beautiful images, and you don't have to really do a whole bunch of extra stuff. But on the iPhone, sometimes you get pictures that don't look great in bad lighting conditions, although the computational HDR, I feel like, has improved the image quality to a point where sometimes in bright conditions, it takes better photos than my Fujifilm camera does, because it's actually able to like bring down the highlights, bring up the shadows. I saw your comment, Lewis. Are you dying to see my face again? Do you miss my face? Should I give you my face back?
I keep looking at the YouTube thing, and I get all confused because it's like 10 seconds delayed, and you know, I mean, I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm a little
you know what?
susceptible to
I don't see where the button is. So what Lewis is asking about is I on Skype they normally see my camera so they can see my face, and now I'm showing them my screen so they can see what I'm doing. And now Lewis is like, I miss your face. I miss that face. Just the chiseled jaw. Well, here.
You can't undo it, can you?
I can't find the button. How about this, Lewis? This is even better than my face. Are you ready?
Oh no.
There it is.
Oh well, that fixes
Is there
it. Yeah,
anything
okay,
else
great.
that you need to see than Alex E. Heath right there? Look at that 5 o'clock shadow that he's going. I didn't even know that was possible, to be honest with you. I didn't know he could do that.
It's airbrushed. Zoom in, look, airbrush.
I didn't know they were doing airbrushing anymore. Is that a technique people still do? Like they sit there and they spray on the I think it's coffee grounds. He just applied it just perfectly before he went into that photo shoot. Because we know that this kind of growth is not possible in Alex E. Heath's face. All right, let's move to AirPods 3, Leander. Let's talk about the update
Yeah,
there.
yeah. AirPods 3, they're also rumored to be, coming out next week. This will be this is the first major redesign of the original AirPods. I think it is. Yeah.
First
So
Yes.
physical one, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
and the rumors are that they're going to have shorter AirPods Pro-esque stems that look way less dorky, so that they'll look like the AirPod Pro, but no noise cancellation. And they may or they may not have silicone tips.
Yeah, let's hope for no silicon tips on those. I know we've talked about this a lot before in the past. I would love, all they have to do is just shorten the stems, make them look cooler, and that's it. And maybe include the magnetic charging case as baseline across all the different models, which I think they're going to do. That's all you got to do. You don't need to add in anything fancy. We don't need the silicon tips, because the thing that makes AirPods so special is the fact that you can have situational awareness when you're wearing them. And if they put the silicon tips on there and you put them in your ears, well, now all of a sudden you don't have noise cancellation, but you can't hear anything because you have silicon tips jammed in your ear holes. So that would be a huge. I feel like that would be a wrong move for AirPods, but we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so let's see here. That was AirPods 3. Let's talk about Apple Watch Series 7. Where are my notes? Who's taking this?
Oh my God!
We didn't put anyone's names
untaken.
down. Lewis, would you like to talk? Actually, you know what? Leander, you're supposed to be taking this one.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was about trying to get in a word in edgeways there, but
Yeah, but Lewis kept talking, and I was trying to be like, Lewis, stop talking so that Leander can continue. Sorry, go ahead.
okay. So, and as same again, Apple Watch Series 7, first redesign we've had in years, with flatter edges that match the style of the new iPhones and iPads. Can you please stop copy editing it while I'm trying to read it?
Yeah.
I didn't want you to be thrown off by the
It
typos.
doesn't need it. Doesn't. I
in
don't
the
have
show
to
notes.
have iPad with a cap P. I can still read iPad.
What, you can't read it when the words are literally shifting all around, being edited on the fly?
He
Come
was doing
on.
it too when you were reading yours. I saw that he hyphenated USB-C.
Lewis, he can't control himself.
I should probably seek treatment.
Did you see his eye was like twitching all weirdly when he was doing that?
Yeah.
He's like he couldn't handle the fact that there were things that were misspelled. Lewis, only we see these notes. No one's reading these but us. So you really don't have to edit it.
Oh God!
You do have
He's
a
probably
problem.
thinking of the post. He's thinking that he's going to turn these into a post afterwards. So
He's literally gonna just copy and paste it. Well, the thing is this is like literally from Cult of Max. So actually, that's not true. Some of this I wrote myself. So I was gonna say. So yeah, you could regurgitate this for Cult of Mac if you want. Sorry, go ahead, Leander.
yeah. So it's and it's supposed to be thinner. It's supposed to be thinner with more available display space.
Mm-hmm.
So a slightly larger screen. The bezels I think are going to get smaller. So the screen will be effectively be larger, but it won't be that much bigger. There's supposed to be a green aluminum shade coming. Green, that's that's bold. And Bloomberg has reported that Apple is considering making a more rugged version of the watch meant for hikers and stinky outdoors people.
Oh, rude! I can't believe you said that. Oh my gosh.
I read it before I could stop myself. And there's supposed to be a new lamination technique that brings the display closer to the front cover, the screen.
Yeah.
Slightly larger cases are expected, with the 40 and 40 millimeter cases going to 41 millimeters and 45 millimeters. Of course, it's going to be a faster S7 chip. Also possible are improved battery life, but sadly, it looks like there'll be no new health sensors. And is it clear what's going to happen with the compatibility with older bands? Like, I've heard two different conflicting versions. Some people say it is going to be compatible with the old bands, and some say that it's not because of the larger case size.
Yeah, I heard that too. And at this point, I don't think there's an answer to that question. But my guess is going to be, because this isn't a dramatic redesign, it's going to be compatible with the bands until they do something really drastic. Because they're basically just going to be making it flatter, and they're going to be making the screen seem it's going to be closer to the actual glass. So it will feel more like you're interacting with the screen directly instead of interacting with the screen that's underneath the glass, which it already doesn't feel that way. So that will be interesting to see if that has a dramatic effect on the look and feel of the screen. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm really curious to see what this final design looks like, and the flatter sides, and and the overall new aesthetic. Because from these pictures that I'm showing, we've showed these before. Like it's got a very cool iPhone aesthetic to it, and it's going to match the iPhones now. But I've kind of grown to like the rounded watch, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so out of all the features that we could have gotten, all the ones that we've talked about over the past 3 or 4 months, it's like, yeah, none of that stuff seems like it's happening. It's just going to be faster, and it's going to have a new aesthetic, and that is looking like it's going to be it. So we'll see if anything changes with that. But one of
I
the
think,
other, yeah, go ahead.
You guys are downplaying the aesthetics. Like, you said, what's the killer feature of the 13? And I reckon the bronze color will be the killer feature.
Yeah.
People will just go, will upgrade just for that, for the new colors and new looks. I mean, this is what and same here with the watch as well. Yeah, and this is what the car industry has been doing for decades, isn't it? I mean, they have new model years, and usually, I mean, like a car platform lasts what, 5-10 years or more. And new model years are basically where they just tweak the colors and the aesthetic, the looks of the car, right? But the basic functionality doesn't change.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading comments at the same time. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, for a lot of people, I think the aesthetic change is going to be enough, and they make it faster. They make the cameras a little bit better, and that will be fine. But for guys like us, for people like us, it's like we want to see where is this picture? Where is this picture? Where is it? Let me find it. Like what we want to see is a major redesign, like the one featured in John Prosser's new video, where it's like, oh, like they got rid of the camera hump. Oh, no more notch, just a whole. It's like, oh, that's the stuff that gets us excited, right? As like a brand new form factor and a brand new look. Oh, titanium band. Oh, so it's much better than aluminum because it's not aluminum, it's titanium now. So that's even better. It's like that's kind of stuff that I feel like really kind of gets us going. But yeah, for most people, it's like, oh, look, it's pink now. I want that.
Do you think that matters that much for the phone? I mean, I don't think it does because I think so many people put them in cases. But I mean, for the watch, for sure, I think it makes a big difference.
You mean the aesthetic of it?
Yeah, just the look.
That is a great point, because a lot of people buy this beautiful phone and they put it into the ugliest case. That's why. This is why I honestly feel like it should be illegal. It should be federally illegal to use any case that's not a bumper case. Like, I'm holding up my phone right now. You can see it. I have the Rhino Shield. I think this is the Crash Guard NX bumper case, which is probably the best bumper on the market. It's super duper protective. I've dropped my phone so many times, and it's never broken. It's never gotten scratched because this bumper is so protective. It adds an element of color to your phone. It kind of complements the design of the phone, but you still get to enjoy the design of the phone, front and back. And I don't feel like you should be allowed to use another kind of case. Like if you do, I don't think the penalty should be severe, but I think like 6 months in like the county jail. I don't think it needs to be federal.
And your phone gets confiscated, of course.
And your phone gets confiscated, and you have to use Android from that point on because you don't deserve to be using an iPhone.
I think I might go without a case for the next one,
Don't go caseless.
Well, I thought the same thing too, but then look what happened.
What happened?
It's all smashed up.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, it looks like it looks like the sidewalk out here outside on the street, with all the broken windows, car windows. It's smashed on the back, and
really?
But you definitely got to get a screen protector. Check out the screen protector on this. It's all dinged up, but the screen itself is okay.
What are you doing with the thing, man?
Dropping it.
Living life, Lewis. I mean, the thing is slick as can be. It flies out of your pocket at like Mach 1 if you lift your pants upside down when you didn't realize your phone was in your pocket. And yeah, I drop my phone all the time. Like, and I feel like I'm pretty careful, but every once in a while, like it just slips out of your hand and then it hits. And if you don't have a case on your phone, your phone is toast. There's no way. There's no way you can not break your phone if you don't have a case. Everybody dropped
it. I mean, I've never dropped it like on a rock or something. Haven't been scrambling up a cliff and drop it 20 feet into down a gorge or anything like that.
But you don't need to drop it into a deep crevasse. You could just, drop it 3 feet onto your driveway, and then it's toast. It gets shattered.
What's a driveway?
You don't have one of those?
No, man, I live in San Francisco.
So you drop it
in those.
You drop it 3 feet and it flies into a mound of drug needles and human feces.
Yeah, but see, that cushions the fall.
Yeah, but then you got to clean your phone off instead of like just throwing the case away. You know what I'm saying? So I still feel like there's a good use case for getting a case. Anyway, I plug this case all the time because it's so beautiful.
Who makes it?
It's Rhino Shield. And the thing is
Shield.
too is like I said this earlier. I know I'm repeating myself, but it is so protective. I've dropped my phone so many times. And this thing, they say that it will protect your phone from up to like an 11 or 12 foot fall. Now, if you drop it on gravel, if something can hit the back like that, you're host. It's not going to protect you from that. But most of the time, I drop my phone onto a flat surface. I'm not one of those stinky outdoor hiking people. So I'm not like roaming around with rocks, jagging through the ground or anything. It's like I drop mine into like a nice sidewalk, driveway, what have you. And so it falls onto the corner. And I've probably dropped this thing 20 times. And my phone literally looks brand new. I mean, part of that is due to the coat cloth. But, the other part is due to the case that I use. All right, so there you go. We talked about iPhone 13, AirPods 3, Apple Watch Series 7. I know what you're wondering. Is TC going to come peeling out in the new Apple car? I don't think so, especially with the news that we got this week. Are we going to be getting new MacBook Pros? I think the answer to that is no, probably not. But we think they're going to be here in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So this will probably be an iPhone-only event, and then they'll give it some room to breathe, and then we're probably going to have another update for the MacBook Pros. I would love if they announced. Somebody sent me a Mentos commercial on Twitter. It's like one of the most appropriate commercials for me that I've ever seen. This guy takes a Mento, it's like a mint flavored Mento, and like he's so refreshed and his body is so minty feeling that his nipples grow like 3 inches each. Did you guys see this?
What? No.
This is a real commercial. I should retweet this so that you guys can see it. So like his nipples like extend out to like 3 inches each, and then he's like, for some reason he's super proud of his new nipple growth. So he like walks around strutting like his new nipple length, and then he starts finding new uses for his nipples.
What?
And he'll like use them to like like use that like a DJ deck, and like he put his nipples on the records, and he was like he's like moving the records back and forth. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This is a real commercial from like the 90s.
I'm afraid to search for that.
I mean, it wasn't real, Lewis. His nipples didn't actually grow that big. They didn't find a guy with some nipple disorder. It was just a commercial. They used special effects, But I was thinking like that's gonna be me. That's gonna be me. If they announce new MacBook Pros, I'm gonna have to have some kind of reconstructive surgery because once they go that long, I don't think you can ever go back and have them be normal again. Then they just hang like flaccid, right? once the excitement retracts, and like you're walking and they're like shaking in the wind. So that'd be gross. I'd have to get I'd have to get that taken care of. But in any case,
sorry this has been mentioned.
I'm sorry that we did the show today.
It's quite disturbing.
Anyway, let's see here. Oh, so we already did the details on. Oh, look at that giveaway in there. We did the details for iPhone 13, so we'll skip that and let's just cruise right to the giveaway. Lewis, you want to talk a little bit about the giveaway?
I'll bring this up here. About the giveaway.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered because I completely forgot. Here we go.
Yeah. Every week we have one. You go to the Cult of Mac homepage, scroll down a little ways, there you see our weekly giveaway. This week we're giving away 4 origami. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Origami protective cases for iPad. These are made by Switch Easy. It's a cool looking iPad case. It folds in 4 different ways to make it easy to type, read, or browse with your iPad. It's great for work, relaxation, just keeping the thing handy and protected.
Yeah,
because we all know it's crazy. I mean, it's one thing to walk around with an iPhone without a case, but an iPad, oh my God, it's a giant slab of glass. You got to protect it, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
This is one of the things. You just go to the homepage, click on that thing, and you just sign up for our newsletter. We have a daily newsletter that maybe you've heard about called Cult of Mac Today, Truth in Advertising. It's exactly what it says in the title. 5 or so of the day's top stories, usually written by Leander, and not the stories, but the newsletter. He cobbles that thing together every day and hits send.
Cobbles.
And then
Exactly.
yeah, and yeah, you sign up for that for free. You get the entry in the thing. You can also enter by doing like visiting our Twitter page or our whoever the sponsors that we visit there. There's all kinds of ways you can enter. Is what I'm getting at, and it's free every week. You should just make a habit of it.
Yeah, there you go. So I will put a link in the show notes if you guys are interested. I just posted that link in the chat too. So if you guys want to check that out and enter to win yourself a nice little iPad case, then you can go ahead and do that. And you might as well enter. You might just win. You might just win it. All right. Let's see here. Where are we going? Oh, okay. So we can't wrap up before we talk about John Prosser's bold move and probably one of his last stories that he'll do. So I don't know if you all saw the vid. John Prosser released a video, and the video was fun. It was a good video, aside from being about iPhone 13 or 14, excuse me. Basically showing renders of what his sources say the iPhone 14 is going to look like, and basically the renders show that they are making the phone slightly thicker, so that it can accommodate a bigger battery. They would also be getting rid of the notch, or excuse me, the notch, yes, but the battery hump on the back, so the cameras will basically be flush with the phone, which I think looks so much better. They will also... Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Liz.
That part was awesome.
I just think aesthetically it looks so much better. Then your phone will lie flat instead of like wobbling when you are, having it on the table. And then on the front, no more notch, just a single hole punch for a camera. I don't know which camera it is, the front-facing camera or the Face ID camera or which one it's going to be. But so no more notch on the front, a titanium band around the outside of it. And then on the Front Page Tech website, he posted some larger renders. So here you can see what the cameras look like, and they are completely flush with the body of the phone. He has some more pictures of it. Now, keep in mind, it's funny. These colors that he's showing, he literally said they don't know what colors that these are going to be made in, so they just literally made these colors up. So this is most likely not going to be the colors that you actually see if Apple even releases this device. Who knows if this will end up coming to fruition? I mean, I'm going to guess that Apple at this point has multiple models that they are looking at, and this may or may not be the one that gets manufactured. But my guess is it's going to be close. And that's pretty cool if they're willing to make the phone a little bit thicker, and that means more battery can be packed in here. Plus, it means no more camera hump. Plus, no more notch on the front. See, like this is a marquee-worthy update. It's like, whoa, no more camera hump, no more notch. New material on the outside band. There are some significant updates on this one. Now, you will notice at the bottom here, what's down there? That's Lightning. That's Lightning. That's not going away. For those of you wondering. So,
what about the sides? The round volume buttons.
Oh yeah, that caused quite
throwback.
A stir. Such a throwback to the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5. I think had the same round buttons. So yeah, I mean, if you look at this peach image that we're showing here, this just screams iPhone 5. In fact, that looks exactly like an iPhone 5. Aside from the camera is up here. Oh God, I can't stare at that too long. What's that? What's that disorder?
Pair of holes, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah.
I have that so bad. It really repulses me when I see things with lots of holes in them. Oh.
It's definitely got a compound eye vibe, hasn't it?
Yes. It's so gross. I don't know. What did you say that was called again, Leander?
I can't remember the name, but
I thought you rattled it off. I was like, holy moly.
Trypophobia.
Rain Man. Isn't that fear of turkey or something?
Trypophobia.
I don't think that's it. I guess it's pretty common. Oh God, there it is again. Look at that. Like it just makes me want to just
squeamish.
It really is gross. I'm not playing it up. I really don't like looking at that. Like it makes me want to just jam my fingers in it and just like ruin all those holes so that they're not there anymore.
Jeez.
It really grosses me out. I don't know why. It makes me think of like parasites or something. Like things living in people's skin. Did I tell you guys what happened to my rabbit, by the way?
Oh no,
Did I not tell you this story?
don't
Did
know
I
if
mention
wanna
this?
hear
I don't
No.
think so.
Oh, God, if you want to be grossed out, let me go on a little tangent real fast. So we have rabbits, and the other day, actually right after we had finished recording a show, my wife comes upstairs, and she was like, I think there's something wrong with the rabbit. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, it has like this really like big open wound, and all the fur is falling out around it. And I was like, oh. And she's like, and I went to look at it, and when I touched it, it moved.
Ah,
The whole move?
The hole started moving. And at that point I was like, oh no. I can't deal with this. I can't go look at this thing. That's too gross. And so she does some research, and it turns out the rabbit had gotten a bot fly. So these bot fly larvae will live on mosquitoes, and then when a mosquito lands on you, they'll hop off, and then they'll burrow into your skin and start eating a hole for themselves.
Ugh.
And then they develop into larvae, I guess, and they get bigger and fatter and juicier, and then they turn on into flies, and they fly away. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do about this? And here's the other thing. If you don't pull the fly out correctly, apparently it releases some toxin, and it will kill your animal. So it's almost like Aliens, like the creature from Aliens, where you have to, you can't even kill it because it will try to kill the host. So I was like, dude, what the hell are we going to do about this? So we call the vet, and the vet's like, oh, we don't deal with rabbits. You got to go to an exotic vet for that. And I was like, oh, great. How much is that going to cost, right? An emergency
Full-time
visit to the
surprise.
exotic vet. It's not like I have a fox or something. It's just just a rabbit, But I guess normal vets don't take rabbits. So we call the vet, and they want like $100+ just to even look at the rabbit. And then we were like, well, how much does it cost to like remove this bot fly? And they wouldn't even tell us. They're like, we have to do a surgery to remove this thing. And, we can't tell you how much it's going to cost. And I'm like, oh no, they won't even tell us. That means it's going to be at least $500, right? And the reason they do that is probably because they don't want you to like not bring your animal in and then let it die or something. So I'm like, I am not spending $500+ on this freaking rabbit. Like, we got this rabbit for my daughter. I'm not going to spend, $500+ making this rabbit live. Like, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. So I go on YouTube, I do some research, and I found this like Mr. Vet video where I guess it's like a reality TV show, and people bring their animals into the vet's office. And this woman brought her animal in with the exact same problem. And he's like,
rabbit too?
it was a rabbit. And he was touching the hole, and the thing started moving. And he's like, uh-oh, your rabbit has a bot fly. These are very common. He's like, all you got to do is grab it by the hole and then press on it, and it will pop the larva out.
What? Like popping a zit?
Yeah. So he
Oh my
pushes it, and you see it
God.
start moving, and then he like grabs onto it, and he squeezes it, and it just goes, and it pops out. Look at Lewis's face.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry for those of you who are listening to this who are truly repulsed, but I had to share this experience with you because I wanted you to be as repulsed at this as I was. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do something about this. I had to
Oh
get
my
this.
God.
I had to get this bot fly out myself because I'm not
Earth on
gonna,
Elijah, the YouTube vet.
I'm like, he literally did it in 30 seconds. So how hard could it be? I'm not paying $500 to extract this bug from my rabbit. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. So I'm like, honey, get my gloves. Like, I'm preparing like the towel and everything to get this rabbit out there. And I put on my nitrile gloves, and I was like sitting there studying myself for this experience because I was like, I knew going into it, whatever happens in this experience, it's gonna change me. And I'm going to have this experience seared into my mind forever. I'm not going to be able to get rid of it. That's it for me. Like, there's a before and there's an after. So I took a moment of silence just to appreciate that, right? So I have my wife hold this rabbit down, and it's like frozen in fear. And I grab a hold of this hole, and it's like a gaping hole. I'd say it's probably like a half inch in length, right? It's a big hole.
Wow. That's a wound.
Yes, it's an open, gaping wound. And so I
Wow.
grab onto it, and I'm like, okay, where is it? And I feel something in there, and I squeeze it, and it goes, and I would say probably a tablespoon of pus comes shooting out.
Oh. Oh my God.
We just lost some listeners, and then my wife, she starts dry gagging, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, don't you dare puke. We got to finish what we started here.
Oh
So
my
I have some
God.
paper towels, and I'm like wiping this wound out, and I'm squeezing it, more pus, right? And I feel something in there, but I don't see where this larva is. And I can't get it out of there. And I'm like looking in the hole, like moving it around. And ultimately, what I figured out was like, I think the larva actually finished its life cycle. It turned into a fly. We must have just happened to catch it at the very end of the process, and it flew away. So it completed the process. It flew away. There was no bug left in there. And at this point, it was just a gaping hole in my rabbit. So we took it to the vet, and just to have them confirm, right? And she's like, yeah, the bug's gone. It must have just, flown away. And I was like, well, what do we do with this giant gaping hole in my rabbit? We do like stitches or something? And she's like, no, we'll just clean it out with some iodine. And she's like, then just let it stay in your house for like 2 weeks for it to heal. And I was like, really? That's it? It's like a freaking half-inch hole and maybe a half-inch deep in the side of my rabbit, and it's just gonna heal itself? And she's like, yeah, probably. And so we took it home, and within 48 hours, the hole was totally closed up, and the fur started growing back maybe a couple days later, and now the rabbit is just as happy as can be.
Wow.
Well, what a happy story.
Yeah. So, if you
I thought
ever
it was going
see,
to take a turn for the worse. Well, so you did. So how much did it cost the vet?
they charged us $120 for the appointment, and they sent us home with like another $100 worth of drugs and like all sorts of other crap that we absolutely did not need. They didn't even ask us; they just charged us for it and gave us a bag full of rabbit drugs.
Oh, the drugs weren't for you to like help calm your nerves after this experience?
I could have used some of those drugs before.
Here's a bucket of Xanax.
Yeah, before I did the operation. So the rabbit is happy, healthy, and she really is a sweet rabbit. Like she's my favorite one. If the other one had died, I probably wouldn't be that upset. But Flower, our brown rabbit, like she really is a sweet rabbit. So I would have felt bad if she died. So
What about this horrific bug? Is it flying around now? Does it infect humans?
So you can bot flies can do this to humans. Most bot flies can't infect humans, but there are varieties that can get into humans. And actually, I saw a story a long time ago of a guy who was traveling. I think he was an American guy traveling by himself in some tropical terrain, and he got one of these things. And he was in dangerous shape, because if this thing leaves and the wound gets infected, like he could die, right? He's out in the middle of the forest or whatever. And so he found these travelers who were in the same area, and he's like, you got to get this bot fly out of my back. And so they had to like squeeze this bug out of his back. And I didn't watch the whole thing because I couldn't handle it. I was like, I can't see this. But then I got to re-experience it with the rabbit. So yes, humans can get it too. And it's one of the most horrific things I think that could possibly happen to you emotionally. And it's something
It's like
that you would never
spiders
forget.
in the ear. You hear about that? People get spiders. They nest in their ears, and
I had a freaking spider go in my ear one night. I think I told this story on the show a long time ago. I heard one scurrying around my bed, and I was like not sure what it was. I was half asleep, and then it ran into my ear. And I heard it like panicking in there. So I jammed my finger in there, and I heard it go, and it crunched, and then I probably stuck half my pinky into my ear canal and then swooped it out, and it flew out, and I got it out of there before it, tried to make a web or something.
did you say you killed it?
I killed it, yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah, I killed it. She ran in my ear.
Off limits.
That's an off-limits location. All right. Let's see here. Where were we? That story went on longer than I thought it was going to, but
Yeah, that was
truly
quite a detour.
truly horrendous. Truly horrendous.
Complete with pus.
Oh god, when I squeezed that thing for the first time, oh
Yeah.
Lewis. Okay, where are we? We talked about. Oh right. Okay, so let's wrap up with this because we got to go. iPhone 14. So Prosser comes out with this story, and as excited as I was when I saw this, I was like, dude, I actually genuinely worry for his safety, right? because can you release a story like this, piggybacking the hype on the iPhone 13, and then saying in your video, don't buy iPhone 13, here's iPhone 14 instead. So now not only are you leaking a potential phone that Apple's going to be releasing, but you're actively encouraging people to skip the current phone that's about to come out to buy the new one. I just feel like he's a dead man. Like, he's either going to get offed by a bunch of black SUVs when he's driving down the road, or Apple's legal team might come after him or something. Like, do you think there's any actual danger, Leander? I mean, you've been around for a while. It seems like maybe there might be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're definitely going to be looking. I mean, they're going to be looking for the leakers internally, and I think they face far more serious consequences. Prosser's kind of fairly careful about how he does things, like all these renders and stuff. He's not using any copyrighted images. He's not using photographs, that Apple might claim to be, trade secrets or anything like that. And then, of course, Lewis wrote about, this, how Tim Cook might be going after him for revenge. And we looked a little bit at the history, right, Lewis? And, they've done this before. Remember Think Secret? I mean, that site, which is like the front page tech of its day, extremely popular. I mean, they managed to negotiate that to get shut down. So it actually ceased publication after it was sued by Apple.
I mean, that's the thing, is they don't need to win. They just need to sue you. And they have endless money. So if they did sue you, I think a lot of people would cave just because they couldn't handle the pressure of being sued by one of the most powerful legal teams in the galaxy. I can only think that Disney might be worse. Like, if you're like, I'm gonna create a movie called Star Battles, that might be the only situation where you might end up in a worse position. But to your point, Leander, yeah, I mean, he is doing it really smart, and this partnership that he has with Ian Zelbo, who's doing the renders, I mean, he's not the first person to do something like this, but this is a really smart way of doing it, because he takes a design that may have inscriptions or text on them that would indicate who was giving him the leak. They get rid of all that stuff and they just create their own render, and it really whets people's appetite, because you can see what the phone's going to look like. And even if it's not exactly right, people love seeing this stuff, right? So it could be slightly off, but still it's going to get a huge amount of attention. It gives people the gist of what they can expect, and yet there's zero chance that his source is going to be found out, or at least it seems like it, because these are renders. And they look so realistic. Like, this kid, actually, if anything, I would probably, if I were Apple, I would try to hire Ian Zelbo to work at Apple so he doesn't do this anymore. Because, like, these renders are really...
Do you see that one there? So that screenshot? Look at that on the screen.
My gosh,
it's pretty
dude.
funny.
So this render we're looking at, the back of the phone is laid underneath the front of the phone, and on the front of the phone, it's Phil Schiller's Twitter profile, and it says, "You are blocked from following Phil Schiller," which is true. Phil Schiller does have... Oh my gosh, dude, he's really asking for it. Holy moly.
I didn't even notice that he put that on there, "Don't buy iPhone 13" in the actual title of the video. I mean, and that's one of the things that it's one thing to leak stuff about the phone that's coming out next week, right? Like, okay, well, it ruins the surprise. But I mean, I don't know. I was watching this and going, this could really give people reason not to buy the iPhone 13. And that one of the things, there's journalists have protections, right? Under First Amendment and things like that. Publishing trade secrets is, I did a little bit of research into this. One of the things that the company can get you for is, financial damage. Did you cause financial injury to us?
That's an interesting point, actually.
Putting that in the title is, it's like he's really, I mean, it's almost like he went out of his way to pick a fight with Apple. It's just kind of bizarre. I mean, he even talked in the video about like, it's really, we did it specifically in this way. It's just, I don't know, just bizarre. What a stunt.
I mean, I think the way that he did it was really smart to garner attention for his video. But yeah, I think what he has to be careful of, and John, if you're listening, what you got to be careful of is what Lewis just said, is giving people a reason to not buy a certain product. Like, and I'm no lawyer, right? So maybe this isn't a big deal. But if you're just saying, hey, here's what we think iPhone 14 is going to look like, that's one thing. But if you're saying, hey, don't buy the iPhone 13 because here's what the iPhone 14 is going to look like, and then it doesn't happen that way. Well, now you're impacting their sales, and you may be showing something that may not be accurate, right? And or they change to not be accurate because of whatever reason. And now you're in a position where if you've injured them financially, you really are gonna end up in TC's torture dungeon. You know, that's gonna be part of your settlements.
It's a big weird thing though, right? Because
Yeah.
if they sue him and say, "Hey, you published our stuff," then they basically, say that, "Oh, this is real," and if they just ignore it, then I guess people can think, "Oh, well, who knows if it's real, right?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's odd. I mean, they have gone after people in the recent past, right? I mean, they sent, I think it was, some leaker out of China sent a cease and desist letter or something like that, saying, "Hey, quit posting these things." And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Playing with fire.
See if they go after him. Yeah.
I mean, people bring up Gizmodo. I would also bring up Louis Helsenteger and Box Therapy. I mean, when you cross Apple in a way that seems like it crosses a line, they take action against you, and I think it affects you for sure. But I don't know. Sorry, Leander, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, yeah, Gizmodo. I mean, the big mistake they made was like showing off the device and saying we actually have this thing. What they should have said is that we've been shown this thing, and they should have done what he did, which is like make renders and stuff like that. Although actually they had a physical device, but they by taking possession of it, I think they set themselves up. It was Apple's property, right? So they had to give it back, and it would have been much safer for them if they had said that they had been shown this device by a third party, and then they have First Amendment protections. They're not doing anything illegal. They're not taking possession of the device. They don't have, they're not violating copyrights or trademarks. It's perfectly legal to be shown something. Here's a new phone that Apple's been coming out with, and to report on that. There's absolutely nothing that Apple can do about it. It's protected. It's journalism. But by taking, I think did they say they paid for it or something?
I think they paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah, by paying for the device, then they're stepping over into a legal, gray area where Apple has, a much stronger case for prosecuting them.
I will say this: Prosser made up all these colors, and I'm like, these colors actually look pretty good. So the white one, silver one, clearly we're gonna get that one. We'll probably get this black model too, but he picked out this like peachish pink color, which I actually think looks really nice. And then the one that I love the most was this this turquoise color. Like that's a sexy looking phone right there. That looks really nice. So hats off to Ian Zelbo. Maybe he should be a product designer for coming up with this color palette. Like maybe he just did the work for TC and the crew, because these look really nice. So anyway, best of luck to John Prosser. It will never cease to amuse me how pissed off people get about Prosser leaks. Like I was in all the different posts that happened about this, and he was clever. He put together like a press kit so people could report on this and have all the images and stuff. Like he was doing his best to make this go viral, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And
he teased it about half a dozen times, didn't he? The
succeeded.
days before.
Yeah, and you read the posts from the comments, and people are pissed, man. Like a lot of people really hate Prosser. And they just don't like him. They think that he's not accurate. And look, he gets some stuff wrong for sure, but he's also been right on a lot of stuff as well. So it's not like he's just making things up. I mean, my take is that he has a lot of sources, or maybe not a lot of sources. He has some sources who are giving him information really early, and maybe even not early sometimes, but Apple changes their plan sometimes. So he's reporting what he's hearing. And whereas I think Gurman doesn't report something until he's sure he knows what's going to happen. That's the difference between Gurman and Prosser. Prosser tells you what he hears. Gurman tells you what he thinks is going to happen, and he bases what he thinks is going to happen off of all of his sources. So Gurman wants to be right, and Prosser wants to tell you what is happening. So there's a difference between the two of them. So Prosser ends up not being as right as Gurman, but he's also producing a lot more content because Gurman sits on stuff. He's hearing from his sources, and he doesn't seem like he is willing to say anything until he's like, okay, I've confirmed with
Well,
my
we
15 sources. I know what's happening now.
Well, right, exactly. We had that at Mac Week. When I worked at Mac Week as an Apple reporter there, you could only report something if you had it from 3 independent sources. It had to be, if you had some leak, if you had some, information about some upcoming product, you had to confirm it with 3 independent sources, which is a really high bar. And then everything that wasn't confirmed by 3 independent sources went into the Mac Week, Mac the Knife column, which is like their rumor column, and that was produced every week, and it was like a grab bag of all these different rumors. And Gurman's starting to do that now with his Power On newsletter on Sunday. I mean, this is where he's unloading all this stuff, that he can't confirm, the rumors and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite clever, So, but the stuff that he reports for Bloomberg, he doesn't say explicitly it's been confirmed by, different sources, but they will be going through that kind of process. The editors there for sure will want him to start to confirm, some of the more explosive stuff from multiple sources before they report it.
Well, you know what we need is a version of Clue Front Page Tech Edition, and it's going to be, my guess is it's going to be TC in the garage with the piano wire. that's going to be my whodunit. It could be like TC in the backyard with the metal pipe. I mean, there's so many ways that this could go down. But my best wishes to Prosser's family on their upcoming loss. That's all I have to say. But in the meantime, we're certainly it certainly makes things fun, doesn't it? It definitely makes things fun. Okay, I know we were going to talk about the Apple Car story, but we're going way along. We got to wrap it up here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the music and go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. We'll of course be back with our impressions and reactions to everything Apple announces. Next week's going to be a fun week. I'm really super excited for all this upcoming hardware. But if you want to come reach out to us on Twitter, express your excitement. We're all there. I'm at Erfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Leander is at L. Caney. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening and for watching live. And we will see you guys next week.
Hey, y'all, it's me, Tim.
What? Tim, is that you? He's going to go full Jabba the Hutt when Leia puts that chain around his neck and he's like, ah. Oh, you guys can't see me. I did the tongue action. There we go. I did it. Oh, yeah, I'm hyped. It's going to be an exciting week next week. Oh, Konoth is here. Hey, Konoth. I'll see you next week. Tom Walker. Later, y'all. Lewis, anything to say while we're wrapping up here on the music?
Let's see. How many days do we got now? We're like, what, 4 days away? 5 days away?
I got to send you guys that Mentos commercial.
5 days.
You can see me on Tuesday.
Yeah, I am waiting to see that. Maybe that'll wipe out the botfly images out of my brain. And I unfortunately I Googled that. Right, you're talking about that.
Oh yeah,
oh,
that was a bad move.
Almighty.
That was a bad move.
Now we start seeing like